Since childhood, I have been attracted to everything mysterious, enigmatic, and mystical. I always love listening to and telling scary stories, summoning spirits, and climbing abandoned houses. Yes, of course, all teenagers and all children love this. But my love for mysticism, I think, also has something to do with the fact that I live in a cemetery. Although, of course, I am exaggerating somewhat. I live in the private sector, in my own house, and the cemetery is across the road. This cemetery is small, old, forgotten by everyone, even many townspeople, and our city is literally a 10-minute walk away, do not know about it. And I think that if it weren't for the tomb of the unknown soldier, which our authorities talk about once a year, on May 9th they still remember, it would have been demolished for some kind of construction. By the way, at one time it looks like they were even going to do this. Since on the other side of the cemetery for 40 years now, the cemetery has not been in operation since the mid to 50s. There has been a 5-story building in which one of my friends Masha lives. And behind Mashka's house there is the Standard District, where the main character of this story, my friend Anya, lives. All three of us, like many of our peers from the village and Standard, are children of the old cemetery. Maybe this is why mysterious events happen in our lives all the time. Green, quiet, which has become almost a park for us. Since adults almost never went there unless absolutely necessary, and still don't, for us there was real freedom there. We smoked there before school, made appointments, sorted things out, sometimes made hooligans, confessed our love, made acquaintances. How strange it didn't sound. The cemetery loved us, although, especially at night. We felt how it came to life and began to communicate with us. It seemed that someone was moving there, between the graves. Someone was looking at us from the darkness. It was frightening, because we knew that several people had committed suicide in this cemetery. When it got really scary, we just ran away, and yet we couldn't resist. They told each other scary stories. It was they who gave rise to our friendship with Anya. To some extent, she is a very unusual girl. Her life is literally permeated with mysticism, and some scary miracles constantly happen to her. True, no one really believed her. But I believed. She probably felt this, and one day she decided to tell me that for several years now some creature or spirit had been living under her bed, someone who whispered at night, tinkered and scratched. She checked all the corners many times. There are no signs of mice or rats. She doesn't keep pets either, but someone alive definitely lives there. I don't think it's a brownie, she confessed. The brownies are kind and calm, but this something just can't find peace and bother. I feel that he is not aggressive, but angry, and does not like people. Sometimes I'm even afraid to fall asleep in my room. I'll close my eyes, crawl under the covers, and listen to him move the curtain back and forth and seem to whisper. What is he like? Where could it come from? It's hard to say, but only recently has it become very noisy. At that moment, having read all possible books on magic, I was constantly bringing down whole avalanches of esoteric knowledge on all possible issues to everyone who was not too lazy to listen. And if I didn't know something, then I made it up. In those years, there was the TV series Charmed, and it was especially fashionable among girls to be interested in magic. Although from our group only I could boast of real success. I studied palmistry at an amateur level, easily read tarot, and it came true, naturally, since I'm so smart. Anya suggested that I try to drive out the bad spirit. Tempting. Still would. I could feel like a real good witch. Well, yes, I'm lying again. I was also a little scared, but curiosity still prevailed. Instantly, having driven home for candles, a magical herbarium dried over the summer, and a notebook with spells written out, I, with the determination of Van Helsing, went to drive out the spirit from under Anya's bed. First of all, I once again examined the bed, the walls, and the curtains, asking for every detail. Where the noise first appears, whether the creature moves throughout the room or appears only in a certain place, how it rustles, what it whispers, etc. Then followed the expulsion procedure, which began with the removal of everything that could rustle under the bed. What was found? Dust, a pen refill, several pencils, some old jewelry. Nothing suspicious. They lit candles, sprinkled the spoken water around the room, and read the exorcisms from the notebook. The following nights Anya slept peacefully, but after some time she started telling me again about the one who lives under the bed. True, now he behaved more quietly and more carefully. Besides, she was already accustomed to such a strange neighbor and was almost not afraid of him. Several years have passed. We began to gradually forget about those events, to consider everything our invention, a game. But the creature apparently decided to remind us of itself and prove its reality. That evening, Anya invited us, me and another friend of hers, also Anya, to her place to gossip, drink tea, and share secrets. The mistress of the house and I sat on the bed with our legs crossed, and her friend Anya stood in the middle of the room, and told us something animatedly and emotionally. Suddenly we heard something clearly rustling under the bed and moving around. It seemed to me that I didn't even hear it so much as I physically felt it. Something living really appeared under the bed. Anya immediately fell silent. In a split second, the leg of the bed, which fixed one of the corners of the carpet, rose. The carpet pulled back a little, and the creature ducked under it. A rather large mound rolled like a wave across the floor of the room and disappeared right at Anya's feet. We watched what happened as if in a trance, and Anya, naturally, rushed onto our bed with a squeal, hiding in a corner and tucking her legs. We sat in silence for some time and looked at each other. The fact that nothing seemed to us was reminded by the pulled-back corner of the floor carpet. I told you, it really lives there. The owner of the room said in a weak voice. Time passed. I had to get out of bed, but I didn't want to put my feet down at all. Mary, you are the bravest among us. Go on reconnaissance, the girls encouraged me. Actually, I didn't have much of a choice. It was 11 p.m. It was time to get ready to go home. She climbed out of bed, stomped around, straightened the carpet, and even looked under the bed with a flashlight. Everything is clean and calm. It is gone. The next morning, Anya, the owner of the room, moved the bed to another place. True, this didn't help much. Anya says that sometimes at night the creature appears again under the bed. Well, let him live. If he likes it so much, she says. After all, it doesn't do me any physical harm, but I often have nightmares. But that is another story.